The Galactic Council ship floated high above Earth. It was a large black ship, silent and invisible to human eyes. Inside the ship, Council officers looked at the screens and waited for the scan report. The mission was simple. Scan this small blue planet, check for weapons, and decide if it was safe to conquer. One of the officers, a tall creature with silver skin and 3 eyes, spoke. Begin the scan. Let's see if these Earth creatures are any danger. The machine buzzed. Green lights blinked. Soft voice spoke from the system. Scan complete. Result. No nuclear weapons. No plasma tech. No space defense. Planet is unarmed.
Ow.
The room filled with laughter. One officer nearly dropped his drink. There. Still using oil and wheels? Said another officer. Primitive animals. You can't even leave their own system, another joked. No threat at all. The commander of the ship, High Officer Kelvar, smiled. Prepare the message. Let them know their planet now belongs to the Galactic Council. One officer pressed a button. A strong voice translated into hundreds of human languages, echoed across Earth's skies and into every screen. People of Earth, your planet is now under control of the Galactic Council. Do not resist. You have no weapons. You cannot win. Set peace and follow orders. Obey, and you will not be harmed. Back on Earth, people looked up at their phones, TVs, and radios. Some were shocked. Some thought it was a joke. Others were afraid, but far away in a quiet, dark room. One old man watched the message and smiled. He turned off the screen and whispered to himself. They scanned for weapons. But they didn't scan deep enough. In space, the Council ship prepared the landing team. Small scout ships were sent down. The first one landed in a green open field near a small town. The alien soldiers stepped out. Their armor was shiny. Their guns were big. Their boots crushed the grass under them. But the town was quiet. No people ran. No one screamed. A child stood at the edge of the street holding a ball. The alien pointed his weapon, ready for any attack. But the child just waved. Another soldier stepped forward. They're not running. Not hiding. Strange. No fear, said the leader. That's good. They accept defeat. They walked into the town. A woman stepped out of a shop and looked at them. Are you the aliens from the sky? She asked. Yes, the leader said proudly. We are now in control. She nodded. All right then. She went back into her shop. The soldiers looked at each other, confused. One soldier walked into a nearby alley to check for dangers. He turned the corner. Nothing there. He laughed. I told you. These apes are harmless, he said into his comlink, but he didn't hear the reply. In fact, no one heard from him again. The leader sent another soldier to look for him, then another. One by one, they disappeared. Finally, the leader shouted, Regroup. Regroup now. Only 2 soldiers returned. The rest were gone. Then something happened. One of the 2 returned soldiers fell to the ground. His helmet cracked, his eyes wide with fear. No weapon, he whispered, just hands. The last soldier ran, but he didn't make it far. A shadow moved fast to fast stand. He was gone. Back on the ship above Earth, alarms began to ring. Connection lost with Scout Team 1, the system warned. Possible threat detected. High Officer Kelvar frowned. But the planet is unarmed? There should be no threat. He turned to his science officer. Did you scan for biologicals? Yes, sir, the officer replied. They are average mammals. Weak bone structure, no claws, no venom. No high-speed flight, no advanced tech. Kelvar narrowed his eyes. Then how did they defeat our soldiers? No one had the answer. Suddenly, a small human video appeared on the main screen. It was from a nearby satellite. Somehow, the humans had taken control of it. The video showed a group of humans standing calmly. No armor, no guns. Just people in normal clothes. One of them stepped forward. He looked straight into the camera. He said just one sentence. We were born to fight. You should have scanned our history. The screen went black. Silence filled the command room. Kelvar stood still. His mind raced. What do they mean? History. He walked slowly to the front of the room and looked out the window at the blue planet below. No weapons found, he said softly. Then his eyes widened. Maybe they never needed any. The Galactic Council didn't take the warning seriously. To them, humans were still weak creatures with no weapons and no space power. The missing soldiers from Scout Team 1 were called a minor error. "We'll send more troops," said. "Hi, Officer Kelvar." "Twice the number. Full armor. Stronger weapons. End it fast." They sent Scout Team 250 elite soldiers in black battlesuits. Their job was to take control of the town where the first team vanished. They landed. Outside the same town, near a forest, their ship touched the ground with a heavy thud. The ramp opened. Soldiers marched out, weapons ready, sensors on high alert. The town was quiet again. No signs of the first team. Broken gear. No signs of struggle. Too quiet, the soldiers entered. Slowly, one team moved to the houses, another to the shops, third to the town square. Each step echoed in the silence. Then they heard something. Soft sound, a slow whistle. One soldier turned. "Who whistled?" No one replied. The sound came again. From above, he looked up. A blur dropped from a rooftop. Before he could scream, he was gone. The others raised their guns, but it was already too late. Shadows moved fast. Humans appeared out of nowhere. No armor, no laser guns. It's just metal rods, ropes, and fists, and rage. The aliens fired, but their targets didn't stop. One soldier shot a human in the leg, but the human kept running and tackled him. To the ground, bones cracked. A scream filled the air. Another soldier tried to escape, but slipped on oil poured across the road. He fell hard. Before he could get up, someone pulled him into the shadows. Back on the council ship, panic spread. Scout Team 2 is under attack. The officer yelled, "We're losing contact again." Kelvar stared at the screen. Red lights blinked. Life signs were dropping fast. "They're not using weapons," the officer said. "But our forces are still dying." Kelvar slammed his fist on the control panel. "This doesn't make sense. Are they doing this?" Down below, only 6 alien soldiers remained. They huddled in a circle in the center of the town square. Their armor was scratched. One had a broken arm. Another was bleeding from the head. A voice came from the darkness. Calm, cold. "You came to conquer. You didn't come to learn." Then, a group of humans stepped out from the shadows. Their faces were calm, their hands empty. One of the aliens raised his weapon with shaking hands. "Stay back." The human leader didn't stop walking. He pointed at the alien's hands. Still hiding behind tools. Still thinking power comes from machines. "We're trained soldiers," the alien said, his voice cracking. "We were born for war." The human smiled slightly. So were we. The screen on the Galactic Council ship showed one last image from the soldiers' helmet cams. Humans rushing forward like a wave of fury. Then the screen went. Black Kelvar stared in silence. 50 trained alien warriors. Gone. His officers stood frozen. No one spoke. Finally, the science officer broke the silence. "Commander, I think we made a mistake." Kelvar's voice was cold. A big one. He turned to the screen showing Earth. "They're unarmed, but not helpless." Far below, deep in the forest, a human elder stood near a fire. Around him sat a group of young fighters. He looked at them and spoke slowly. "We have no fleets, no lasers, no starships." He picked up a rock, "but we have our minds, our bodies. In this," he threw the rock into the fire, "our will." The fire burned brighter. "They don't know yet," he said, "but they will. Soon the whole galaxy will know." In the medical bay of the Galactic Council ship, silence filled the air. The dead bodies of Scout Team 2 were laid out on metal beds. Their armor was broken. Their weapons were untouched. Fear was frozen on their faces. The head alien medic, Dr. Vrel, looked at the first body. Strange. Very strange. He scanned it with a glowing tool. No laser burns. No bullets. No poison. Just broken bones. torn muscles. Crushed helmet, sir, said a young medic, pointing at another soldier. This one. His heart exploded. Dr. Varel checked the report, not from a weapon, from fear. His body couldn't take the stress. How? The younger medic asked. These were elite troops, trained for war. Dr. Varel said nothing. He moved to the next body. Its helmet was missing, face bruised, neck twisted. He looked at the commander's report, cause of death, close combat. With bare hands, Dr. Vril stepped back. This is impossible. Up in the command room, High Officer Kelvar watched the screen. Reports were pouring in. 50 soldiers dead. No human casualties. No advanced weapons used. An emergency call came through from a science ship orbiting nearby. A nervous voice came on screen. We've analyzed Earth's data, their history. It's worse than we thought, explained Kelvar demanded. The scientists showed a chart. Wars, millions dead. Battles across continents, entire cities destroyed. By fire, bombs, even hand-to-hand fights. These humans. They've been fighting each other for thousands of years, the scientists said. And they didn't stop. They kept learning, getting stronger. Kelvar frowned. But they have no advanced tech. They have no space fleet. They don't need it, the scientists said. They are the weapons. Meanwhile, on Earth, a council soldier who had barely survived Scout Team 2's fall was brought back to the ship. His body was broken, but he was alive, barely. He was rushed into the med bay. Dr. Vrel stood beside him. Tell me what happened, he asked. Soldier's eyes were wide. His voice was shaky. They didn't run. Dr. Vrel leaned closer. Who attacked you? The soldier stared at the ceiling. All of them. Did they use machines? No, just fists, knives, traps. Eyes full of hate. Full of war. The heart monitor beeped faster. They weren't scared, the soldier whispered. They enjoyed it. Then the line went flat. He was gone, in the council's war chamber. Fear was growing. Some officers wanted to retreat. Others still didn't believe the reports. They're just savages, one yelled. Dirty, primitive beasts. A calm voice replied from the back. It was the ambassador of strategy, Elder Lurok. He had fought many wars, seen many species fall. He stood slowly and spoke. I've seen warriors with blades for arms. Monsters made of fire. Machines that think. But I have never seen a creature like this. He walked toward the main screen showing Earth. They look weak. They act simple, but their minds, they're something else. They're chaos wrapped in skin. Kelvar asked, should we destroy the planet from orbit? Lurok shook his head. That would be wise. But it is already too late. They know. Us now. And they won't forget. On Earth, deep in a mountain cave, human leaders met. Not presidents or armies, but scientists, athletes, war survivors, martial artists, and hunters. One man stood at the front, holding a broken alien helmet. This is what they brought, he said. Power, weapons, fear. He dropped it to the floor. But they forgot one thing. Fear works both ways. He turned to the group. They studied our skies. They scanned for missiles. They watched our satellites. He pointed to his head. But they didn't scan in here. Our minds. Will, our history. Back on the council ship, Kelvar gave the order. No more scouts. No more small missions. We send the full invasion fleet. Crush them quickly. But Elder Lurok spoke again. They killed your best soldiers with sticks and fists. What do you think they will do to your army? Kelvar stayed silent. Lurok looked him in the eyes. You think they are unarmed? But they are trained by pain, forged by struggle, born in war. That's why they are deadlier than we ever imagined. The council ship drifted in orbit above Earth, silent and unsure. The invasion had failed twice. Their best troops were gone. Their machines couldn't save them. Something was wrong, deeply wrong. Across the galaxy, other council races began. To notice on planet Surin, a council station picked up emergency signals from Earth orbit. They heard screams, panic, and then silence. On Planet Jarnes, the news networks played clips from the helmet cams of fallen soldiers. One video was watched millions of times, a human standing alone, surrounded by 10 aliens and not running. He didn't scream, he didn't beg, he just charged, and he won. People across the stars started asking, what kind of species fights like that without fear, without weapons? Back on the Council flagship, a high-level meeting was called. Every species had a sea reptilian generals, insectoid diplomats, floating jelly mines, even the cold. Logical bots of the fourth hive. The room was dark. A large screen showed Earth. Kelvar stood before the Council. We expected a week. Species. They had no energy weapons, no fleet, no shield tech. But we were wrong. He showed the footage of destroyed scout teams, broken armor. Fear in the soldiers' final moments. They fight with their bodies, their hands, their minds. Insectoid General clicked his jaws. That is not possible. Flesh is weak. A video played. A human in a torn shirt lifted a council soldier over his head and threw him into a wall. The room went quiet. A jelly creature from the water planet whispered through a translator. This is not logic. This is madness. Later, in a quiet corner of the flagship, an alien commander sat alone. He had fought in 5 wars across the stars. He had scars from plasma burns and blade wounds. But now, he was afraid. He held the report from Earth in his shaking hand. No advanced weapons, no training like ours. But they still won. He looked at the final words written by the last surviving scout. They don't fight to protect. They fight because they've been fighting forever. At the same time, deep in a hidden human base in a snowy forest, something new was happening. A captured alien commander sat in a small room. No chains, no guards, just a table. And a human across from him. The human poured tea and slid a cup toward the alien. Why are you not afraid of us? The alien asked. The human smiled, calm. Because you've already lost. The alien's hands trembled. You don't have a fleet. We don't need one. We don't have weapons. We are the weapons. The alien leaned forward. What do you want from us? The human replied, his voice soft but sharp. We want you to remember. What fear feels like, you forgot. We're here to remind you. Across the galaxy. Fear began to grow. Council troops started refusing orders to land on Earth. Commanders requested reassignments. Some smaller races left the Council alliance, saying, Earth was cursed, dangerous, unpredictable. The fourth hive's AI gave a cold report. Humans are unstable, illogical, but they adapt fast. Do not engage further until full analysis is complete. One rebel planet long oppressed by the Council sent a message to Earth. We saw what you did. You stood against them with nothing but fists. We are ready to join you. Tell us how. Earth didn't reply, but the message was saved in the deep of space. Kelvar looked out of the ship's wide window, staring at Earth. They look peaceful, he whispered. A voice behind him answered, Peaceful creatures don't survive by being kind. They survive by being smarter and stronger. Kelvar nodded slowly. We thought they were weak, he said. But we didn't understand what true strength looks like. He turned to his officers. From this day forward, Earth is no longer a target, it is a warning. Far away from Earth, on a black moon in deep space, the Galactic Council built a secret research base. The Council had stopped sending troops to Earth, but they still wanted to understand these strange, dangerous humans. They sent spies. Quiet. Hidden machines. Insect-shaped bots. Satellite sniffers. Observation drones. No attacks. No fights. Just watching. Their mission? Study the humans. Learn what makes them so dangerous. Without weapons. Inside the Council's base, a spy team met to share their findings. They had been watching human cities, villages, schools, even prisons. What they found was confusing, frightening. Spy leader Dern tapped the screen. Look here, he said. These humans train their bodies in places called gyms. They run, lift, climb, and fight. Not for war, just to be stronger. Another officer added, and in their cities, they train for disasters. Fires, earthquakes, attacks. They prepare every day. For things that might never happen. They're always ready, someone whispered. Then the next report came in. A video played. A human soldier ran through mud, freezing rain falling. His leg was injured, but he didn't stop. At the end, he smiled. Why does he smile after pain? Asked a lizard-like scientist. They like pain, Dern said. They call it challenge, growth. They teach it to their children. Later, the spies showed recordings of humans in war history. Men charging into battle with no armor. Women fighting tanks with fire and glass bottles. Prisoners surviving years of torture coming back stronger. They should have been broken, said one bot. But they got stronger. One alien scientist leaned back, eyes wide. They don't just survive pain, they evolve from it. Another report, a spy showed what humans do when they're trapped. A man was lost in ice for 9 days. No food, no fire. He didn't die. He made tools from bones, drank melted snow, crawled for help. The aliens didn't understand. Why didn't he give up? One asked. He's human, Dern replied. Then came the worst discovery of all, in one clip. A group of alien spies tried to blend into a human city. At first it worked. But after a few days, the humans noticed. They didn't say anything. Didn't run. They watched back. One by one, the spies vanished. The final recording came from the last drone. It showed a human child writing something in chalk on a wall near the spy's hiding spot. The words said, "We see you." Only one's learning. The council was shaken. A message was sent to High Officer Kelvar. The humans are watching us back. They know how to track, adapt, and think like us. But we still can't think like them. Back on Earth, in a quiet mountain cabin, 2 humans sat talking. One was an old war general. The other was a young girl, barely 15, but already training. To fight. Why are they afraid of us? She asked. The general smiled, because they think weapons win wars. She looked confused. They don't. He shook his head. No, he said, we'll win wars. And we have more of it than the whole galaxy combined. In the council's secret chamber, the spies gave their final report. They showed one last image map of human history. So much blood, so much loss. But again and again, humans stood back up. Again and again. They refused to break. One line was written on the final slide. You cannot destroy what refuses to die. Kelvar read the words aloud. Then he closed the file. He finally understood. Humans didn't survive because they were peaceful. They survived because they were relentless. The Galactic Council thought Earth's power was only in its people and fists, rage, and history. But now, they saw something worse. The humans had begun using their cities as weapons. A Council scout ship was sent to land on the edge of a large Earth city. It was the 3rd attempt since the failed invasions. This time the soldiers were ordered to be careful, no rushing in, no direct attack, just observation. The ship landed in an empty parking lot near tall buildings. Streets looked quiet. It's quiet. This is a peaceful area, the lead soldier said. Should be safe. He was wrong. The team moved forward slowly, scanning for life signs. Suddenly, the building across the street exploded, not from bombs, but from the collapse of its own support walls. The structure fell sideways, perfectly aimed. It crushed half. The team, before anyone could scream, the rest ran for cover. They found themselves in narrow alleys that twisted like a maze. One soldier checked the map. These weren't here before. That's when they realized the city had changed, not naturally, on purpose. Back in orbit, High Officer Kelvar watched the feed in silence. Why are their cities moving? He asked. The engineer replied. Confused. They're not advanced cities. But humans are modifying them, blocking roads, creating traps, redirecting streets. With what? Do they have machines? No, the engineer said. Just people and tools. Hammers, wires, wood, steel. Kelvar stared. They're turning their homes into battlefields. Back on Earth, inside one city's underground tunnel, a group of humans sat around a large table. There were no generals. No military uniforms, just builders, plumbers, electricians, and firefighters. A man pointed at a large city map. We close this street. Reroute them here. Drop the net. Collapse the roof. A woman added, make sure the signs are wrong. Them follow false paths. Another nodded. We put mirrors here. When they aim their scanners, they'll see ghosts. They all agreed. This wasn't just defense. This was strategy. Hours later, another scout team entered a different city from the south. They advanced slowly, expecting traps. Nothing happened until their own vehicle. Council hover tank turned against them. Humans had hacked its controls. It crashed into their command post, destroying their base from the inside. When the smoke cleared, humans stood on rooftops, holding only ropes, rocks, and slings. They didn't speak, they just watched and smiled. Fear spread through the councils. Ranks Kelvar's officers sent new reports. Human civilians now lead resistance. Children are setting traps.
Elderly
are giving orders with perfect timing. They have no single leader, but all act as one. One commander sent a desperate message. We don't know where the battlefields begin or end anymore. The whole planet is a trap. In space, another council fleet refused to land. Sir, our soldiers won't go down. They say it's a suicide. Mission Kelvar stared at the Earth on the main screen. Once blue and peaceful now, it looked like a sleeping beast. We thought their cities were weak, he whispered, but they were training grounds. On Earth, in the ruins of an old library, a human boy helped a wounded alien soldier. He gave him water. The alien asked, "Why do you fight like this? Why use homes and schools to trap us?" The boy looked him in the eye. "Because we don't have warships. We have rooftops. We don't have bombs. We have books." He stood up. "And we know how to use both." Later that day, an intercepted alien message was leaked online there. Cities are alive. Every street a trap. Every window a watcher. They fight like one body without orders. We're not fighting an army. We're fighting a planet that remembers how to win. The Galactic Council was no longer laughing. They had lost soldiers, drones, and even trust within their own alliance. But now, something even more dangerous was about to be revealed. Earth had been hiding something. Not a weapon, not a machine, but a secret more terrifying than anything the Council expected knowledge. It started when a hacker from the Fourth Hive broke into Earth's digital systems. He was fast, smart, arrogant. Primitive systems, he said. They won't notice. Copied files, history, data, images, words. It's too much to understand at once. But one folder stood out. It was called Do Not Open, for enemies only. He opened it. Inside were files, millions of them. Videos of wars humans had fought. Plans of resistance groups through history. Books on strategy, survival, and war psychology. Interviews with soldiers, survivors, spies, human quotes written in bold. We were forged in fire. Pain is the greatest teacher. We don't fear death. We make it fear us. The hacker froze. Then his system crashed. Earth had seen him. A single message blinked on his screen. You came looking for weakness. Instead, you found the manual. On the flagship, the hacker screamed. They left it there on purpose. Kelvar turned sharply. What do you mean? It was bait. Trap. They wanted us to see it. He showed the council what he had downloaded. The chamber fell silent. It was clear now, humans weren't hiding strength. They were showing it slowly on their terms. One council elder spoke. They waited. They knew we'd spy. And they fed us their darkest knowledge. To make us afraid, another asked. But why not destroy us right away? The answer came from the alien ambassador, who had once visited Earth. He stood and said, because fear spreads faster than fire. And humans, they want the whole galaxy to feel it. On Earth, in a hidden data center, a group of hackers watched. The council's panic through stolen satellite feeds. One smiled. They read it. Another replied, "Good. Let them think we're worse than we are." The leader nodded. "And let them guess if that's even true." In space, some council races were now leaving the Alliance. "We will not fight Earth," one declared. "They have no fleet," another said, "yet they are winning. That is true power." Even machines from the fourth hive started to question. If logic says humans should be weak, but they keep winning, then logic must be wrong. Kelvar sat alone in his command room. He stared at one human image, burned into the screen. A simple photo. A soldier with no gun. Just bloodied fists. Standing over 3 fallen invaders, smiling. Below it, a sentence was written in human English. "We were unarmed because we never needed to be." He turned to his officers and spoke with a quiet voice. "Call back. The fleets, stop the attacks." "Commander?" one asked. Kelvar said slowly, "This is no longer a war. The Galactic." Council fleets turned away from Earth. The war was over, but not because humans were. Defeated because the Council was afraid. They had sent warships, soldiers, technology from 100 planets. Earth had none of those things. And yet, Earth had one. Now, in a silent chamber deep inside the Council's main station, the leaders gathered one last time. Their faces were heavy. Some refused to speak. Others still shook from fear. A message had arrived. Not a threat, not a demand. Just a recording. It came from Earth. No encryption, no tricks. It simply played on every screen across the galaxy. The image showed a human and old woman, sitting calmly in a small wooden chair. Behind her was a forest. Birds sang. Children laughed in the distance. She looked into the camera and began to speak. "We were never unarmed. You just didn't understand what a weapon looks like when it has a human heart." She held up a worn book. "This taught us how to fight." She raised her hand into a fist. "This helped us survive." She touched her chest. "But this, our will is what made us dangerous." Across the galaxy, beings of every race watched. On battle stations, on news screens, in schools, homes, and bunkers. The woman continued. "We didn't destroy you because we didn't need to. You destroyed yourselves the moment you believed we were weak. You scanned our skies, but never our minds." The screen flickered. Her voice remained. "We fought monsters on our own planet long before you arrived. We survived fire, famine, war, and time. And we came out stronger." Now the image changed. It showed people, not soldiers, but ordinary humans. A nurse helping the wounded, a child tying a tripwire, an old man teaching how to build traps, a blind girl leading soldiers through a city tunnel. The galaxy finally saw what the Council didn't. The human weapon was not metal. Whoa, it was spirit. The final part of the message showed Earth from space. No shields, just a glowing blue world. Then one sentence appeared on the screen. "Next time you scan a planet, remember, the most dangerous weapon is the one you can't detect." The message ended. The screen went black. Silence fell over the stars. Back on Earth, the old woman stood from her chair. The camera was off now. She turned to a group of young fighters sitting nearby. "They heard us," she said. "Good," one replied. "Now they'll think twice." The woman smiled. "Now they'll remember humans." And far above, in every corner of space, the name Earth was no longer a target. It was a warning. Unarmed, but deadlier. This is a lesson we learned too late.